This is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I just want to finish this video. This will be two. It's about Hustler Magazine, Larry Flint, when I ran for Congress in '83 and was flown out to Mr. Flint's. And then he furnished me a car for a year, and I was supposed to be working. Well, excuse me, I got to go back to just prior to being going out to Mr. Flint's. I'd just become a candidate, and that was September, because the plane went down in August 31st that Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, that I'd written about, was on the KAL. So I'd become a candidate in that special election. And that's when Hawkins, who I had worked through them, temp agency across from, I did have a campaign headquarters of sorts, sent me to the school, Lovett or Lovell private school, and that's where Yen Zorings, who's next door up here to me in Bedford County, he and Elizabeth Haysom, who's Canadian, Yen Zorings is the German diplomat's son. His dad, I think, and mom are deceased now, and he's still in prison here, and so is, she's Canadian, is Haysom. Elizabeth Haysom. They didn't commit the murders. They were mind control murders done in patterns. So there's a connection there. But I just been in, I know I'm showing this, and maybe you can just listen to me talking, and if you care to put it together. So anyway, you fast forward to now, I met him there. I even went out to the school in the campaign. There were cameras and, media there. But was supposed to meet Yen Zorins and Chad. Okay. The temp office. Okay, the temp office, Hawkins, and I had my campaign there. She called me over, the receptionist across the hall, said, "Did you know that the police department and law enforcement were in doing a background check on you? Because you're supposed to be working for the not supposed to be, as I would be working for the FBI and the law enforcement," which was news to me. But anyway, I had so much hell going on at the moment. I really did. It hasn't stopped. So anyway, I thought I'd put that in. Now then, here is what I'm talking about. This is, you have to go back to the first video I've just put up now. This is the second one. This is April '84 that I get the, it was sent special delivery to me. And Mr. Flynn had furnished me a car, but I have no money. I'm getting no money. So I got the apartment, had enough to get the apartment up in Falls Church. And so they knew where I was. I tried to turn the car in, and what would happen was I'd get put on hold when I tried to call, and prior I'd be put right through to Mr. Flint. They'd never hang up on me. They'd just put me on hold and then come back and transfer me again, So anyway, there's no money. Mr. Flint had to know where I was, because April of '84 in Falls Church, I got this. Pretty old, isn't it? And he says he's... oh, wow, this is a mess. He says he's Malcolm Barbour from FBI calling for Larry Flint, that Larry is so upset he doesn't know where I am. Well, of course they did. They just called me. They sent me that. They had my phone number, and they had my residence because they sent me the magazine. So this whole thing has been like me having to explain, and then people... really, a lot of people don't want... Anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's, okay, I for reasons of my own, to my knowledge, I've never spoken. Maybe I did once, and I'm not sure. Spoke to Malcolm Barbour again, but I had met him down at FBI headquarters prior to doing the book, which is weird, but I think while I was doing the book, and Larry Flint was shot. Malcolm Barbour, for some reason, I got up this morning, I thought, I'm going to Google Malcolm Barbour. I came up with what I just put up, that one was a British scholar of medieval history described as world's leading expert on the Knights Templar. Well, that's the Freemasons, as far as my understanding, that helped kidnap me, the Illuminati. Turns out they're the Mafia. That's a good name for them. Okay. Now, Malcolm Barbour, Barbour, is a writer for cops. Now, this was what I was trying to tell. Langley, that Productions, came to Atlanta, and for reasons I didn't quite understand, there's write-ups in the paper. Tim Conway had worked for Carol Burnett, and so had my husband's nephew had been a writer on that program. So anyway, Langley comes and they invite my sons to their home in Marietta, or one of the kids' homes, and Scott went. I don't think Mark did. Anyway, the Langley stuck with me, and also Langley, you're getting into crypt, is like symbolic of Langley, Virginia, the CIA. Now then, and here this is the FBI here, that's Malcolm Barbour, and okay, so I'm just giving you this much about Malcolm Barbour. And as far as I know, it would be the same Malcolm Barbour, FBI, that called me from Hustler magazine in 1984, right after I got this magazine. I looked at the picture, and it is not, to my knowledge, and I do remember Malcolm Barbour that I met and spoke with. Now then, this gives a bio, and it fits into all this about Langley and all this. Okay, Malcolm Barbour is a writer for Cops, 1995. Top Dog special, thanks to Barbara Langley Productions, and evidently he was quite well known out there because he had a lot of documentaries, I believe, etc. He's an American producer and creator of a television program, Cops, alongside John Langley. Prior to Cops, Barbour had worked with Langley on Cocaine Blues and American Vice, and I could go on and on, and he's on Palm Springs Walk of Fame or something. But I put that in because you try figuring it out. I mean, I can, and I try to put it up, and people think, well, this is not going to affect me. And I want to tell you what, one of the last times I was in the FBI office in Atlanta, he yawned, pretended to yawn, and he said, you know, what you're telling people bores them. He said it's only when they find out how it affects them that they care. So I couldn't get an attorney. And a friend of mine I don't know if he's a friend or not. You get into doubles and all this. The first one was Terry. Maybe I shouldn't say anything else. Anyway, I hope he's a friend. So why did I bring him up? Oh, he told me to put it up on, or suggested, put it up on YouTube. And, of course, I'd already put it up on Facebook because I was trying to find my sons and have a place they could locate me. So I've been doing this since April 2012, and YouTube's and Facebook. And let's see, is there anything else I was going to? Langley Productions, Broadway, 11 Broadway, Santa Monica, California. I don't know if I go back to, I hope and pray that there is film of what's been done to me. And I remember what Larry Flint said as I went out the door in 83. He introduced me to why would he introduce me to him? Movie producer. But that doesn't mean that they were able to do it, that a movie's been made or even film of all this. I certainly hope so, because it's atrocious. There's no words To put it, I was trying to tell about mind control murders and write about it before I found out about my real name. And then when I found out about my father and mother and what's been done to them in my country, and by the way, there were Brits or I wouldn't be alive, and Germans. So when you start knocking the Germans, you better go back in history and hope you've got the right info if you care. And some Americans have tried, but basically, I'll just leave it at that. I guess that's all I was going to say. It didn't look like Malcolm Barbour to me. The picture didn't, but this bio is certainly fits into it all. The Langley Productions and him working for them, it does. And to me, he's a nice man, and well, he is a nice man. And I don't mean him any harm, and I'm sure this won't go up if it would. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it up.